Hello, and welcome to Learning Student Loans, Understand and Prepare for the Cost of Your Education, a webinar offered by Christian Credit Counselors. I am Brittany Frost, Education Specialist in the Education Department at Christian Credit Counselors. I have a degree in education as well as several years of teaching experience. It is my job to provide financial education to help people develop good habits on their path to financial freedom. It is a pleasure to conduct this webinar to promote awareness, understanding, and preparation for the cost of your education so that you can make the best financial decisions about student loans for your future. At Christian Credit Counselors, it is our mission to help individuals and families burdened with financial pressures learn how to become debt-free and attain financial freedom. We will provide financial management skills through the highest quality programs, education, and counseling. In delivering our superior products and services, we are dedicated to providing industry-best customer support and satisfaction. This webinar is designed to give you an overview of the types and features of student loans, such as their repayment plans, so that you can make the best, most informed decision on your journey to obtain the education you need for your career and for your life. Within this overview, we will also discuss free financial aid options, loan consolidation, forbearance, deferment, loan forgiveness, what to do if your loan is in default, and helpful resources that will help you stay in control of your loan and payments. Whether you already have a student loan or you are thinking about getting one in the near or distant future, this webinar will help inform you of your options of loan types and repayment options. It is never too early to start thinking about, talking about, or preparing for college and the cost of education. It is an amazing opportunity and huge responsibility. Hopefully, this webinar assists in this preparation process. If student loans are not properly thought about and prepared for, delinquent payments or default can damage your credit history, not to mention cause you years of worry and stress. A student loan is a loan offered to students for the purpose of education. It should not be viewed as another source of income because you need and you are promising to pay it back in the future. It should only be used for school or school expenses, such as college tuition, room and board, or textbooks. As with any big decision, it is important to weigh the pros and cons before you decide to apply for a student loan. Even though for some people it may seem like a necessity rather than an option in order to continue their education, it is a big responsibility that could have major implications on your life, so it should be researched and consciously decided upon. Some advantages to student loans include the fact that it is an immediate and convenient way to fund your education if you do not have the means to do so up front. Also, it can be seen as an investment in your future, since furthering your education can make you eligible for more jobs and higher salaries. However, of course, disadvantages include having to pay interest, which means a higher total cost of the student loan, as well as the fact that you have one more expense that you need to repay and that stress that comes along with the loan payment. Even though it can cause stress, it is considered by many as good debt because a student loan is a tool to help you achieve your goals, such as getting an education, or another example would be buying a home. Your decision will depend on your unique life plan, your unique life goals, and your unique financial situation. Either way, the advantages and disadvantages should both be considered. Before you just assume that you will need to take out student loans, it is important that you work as hard as you can so that you need the least amount of loans possible. You can reduce the amount of loans you will need by applying for as much free financial aid as possible. Grants and scholarships are basically free money given to you for your education. Grants are based on your financial need, and scholarships are based on your merit or academic worthiness or other accomplishments. You can get scholarships for many different reasons. For instance, having a certain grade point average, being a member of a certain organization or group, or for being a good athlete. However, beware of scholarship scams. For instance, you do not need to pay to fill out the FAFSA, which is the free application for student aid. So beware if anyone is making you pay for that. Grants and scholarships can both come from the federal government, state governments, the college or university which you are attending, or a private or nonprofit organization. Check local institutions such as your credit union, or ask family and friends if they know of any scholarships or grants for which you can apply. Visit the financial aid page of your prospective college or university to see the free aid that is offered there. To see the free aid offered by the federal government, visit www.studentaid.ed.gov. The type and amount of free financial aid that you receive may factor into your choice of university, so it may be most beneficial for you to attend that institution. In short, grants and scholarships can determine a big part of your future. You could also look into a work-study program before applying for a student loan. This is a federal aid program that offers part-time employment to undergraduate or graduate students on or off campus while they are enrolled to help pay for their education. Whether you get into a work-study program or not will depend on when you apply, the earlier the better, your level of financial need, and your school's funding level. For more information on these programs, visit www.studentaid.ed.gov. In fact, I will be referencing that website as a helpful resource many times throughout this webinar. There are two general types of student loans: federal loans and private loans. Federal loans are funded by the federal government, while private loans are student loans funded by a lender such as a bank, credit union, or school. Federal loans usually offer several more benefits or advantages than private loans, so it may be wise to apply for federal loans first. With federal loans, you will not have to start repaying until you graduate, leave school, or change your enrollment status to less than half time, while many private student loans require payments while you are still in school. Again, this can make a huge difference on your loan balance and just the life of the loan and how long it takes you to repay it. With a federal loan, the interest rate is fixed and is often lower than private loans, and much lower than some credit card interest rates. Private student loans can have variable interest rates, some greater than 18%. A variable rate may substantially increase the total amount you repay. Undergraduate students with financial need will likely qualify for a subsidized federal loan where the government pays the interest while you are in school on at least a half-time basis. However, private student loans are not subsidized. No one pays the interest on your private loan except for you. This can make a huge difference in your loan and repayment. You don't need to get a credit check for most federal student loans, except for PLUS loans. Federal student loans can help you establish a good credit record. However, private student loans may require an established credit record. The cost of a private student loan will depend on your credit score and other factors. You will not need a cosigner to get a federal student loan in most cases. However, you may need a cosigner for private student loans. Finally, interest may be tax deductible for federal loans, while with private loans, interest may not be tax deductible. Federal loans can be consolidated into a direct consolidation loan, while private loans cannot. If you are having trouble repaying your federal loan, you may be able to temporarily postpone or lower your payments. Private student loans, however, may not offer forbearance or deferment options like this. There is no prepayment penalty fee for federal loans. You need to make sure that there are no prepayment penalty fees with private loans. You may be eligible to have some portion of your federal loans forgiven if you work in public service. However, it is unlikely that your private lender will offer a loan forgiveness program. For more information on the differences between federal and private student loans, visit www.studentaid.ed.gov. There are several types of federal student loans. Direct subsidized loans have slightly better terms for students with financial need. They are available to undergraduate students who can prove their financial need. The school determines the amount you can borrow, and the amount may not exceed your financial need. Most importantly, the U.S. Department of Education pays the interest while you are in school at least half time and for the grace period, or the first 6 months after you leave school, and during a period of deferment. In contrast, direct unsubsidized loans are available to undergraduate and graduate students, and there is no requirement to demonstrate financial need. You have to pay the interest during all periods for this type of loan. Your interest will accrue and be capitalized or added to your principal if you choose not to pay the interest while you are in school and during grace periods and deferment or forbearance periods. PLUS loans are federal loans for graduate or professional degree students and parents of dependent undergraduate students. The U.S. Department of Education makes Direct PLUS loans available to eligible borrowers through schools participating in the Direct Loan Program. For this loan, the U.S. Department of Education is considered the lender. A credit check will be performed during the application process. If you have an adverse or negative credit history, you may need an endorser who does not have an adverse credit history. The maximum loan amount is the student's cost of attendance, determined by the school, minus any other financial aid received. Finally, federal Perkins loans are for undergraduate, graduate, or professional students who have exceptional financial need. Your school is the lender, so in order for you to get it, your school must participate in the federal Perkins Loan Program. Completing the FAFSA, or Free Application for Federal Student Aid, is the first step in getting any federal student aid. You must do this every year. You can do this by going to www.fafsa.ed.gov, and it is free. In general, to qualify for federal loans, you need to be a U.S. citizen or an eligible non-citizen with a Social Security number, be enrolled or accepted in school at least half-time, have satisfactory academic progress, and to qualify for most programs, you need to have or demonstrate some sort of financial need. Once you choose a federal loan that you would best qualify for, you should think about repayment before you even apply for it. Know the consequences of failing to repay your student loans because they can be huge. A loan is considered delinquent the first day after a missed payment. Your loan servicer reports all delinquencies of at least 90 days to the three major credit bureaus, which are TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. This damage to your credit history can make it difficult to get credit for big things in your future, such as a car or a house. A student loan is then considered in default if you have not paid in more than 270 days. There can be serious legal consequences if your loan is in default, such as your wages being garnished, and your loan holder can take legal action against you. Also, you are no longer eligible for deferment, forbearance, and repayment plans, or to get more financial federal student aid. Meanwhile, it will continue to affect your credit and your student loan will increase due to factors such as late fees, additional interest, court costs, and collection fees. So that all of these things don't happen, it is important to know, understand, and prepare for your repayment plan. It is selected at the beginning of the loan, but you can change it at any time. The information in this chart is from www.studentaid.ed.gov, and it is an overview of direct loan and FFEL program repayment plans. Perkins loan repayment plan options are different, so check with your school to learn more about them. To start with our overview, we will talk about the standard plan. It can take a maximum of 10 years to pay back with a fixed payment amount each month. With this plan, you pay less interest over time. With the graduated payment plan, it takes a maximum of 10 years to pay back. However, payments are low and then they increase. With this repayment plan, you pay more for your loan over time than the standard plan. With the extended repayment plan, there's a maximum of 20 years for repayment, and payments are fixed or graduated biannually. With this repayment plan, you pay more for your loan over time than the 10-year standard plan, but lower monthly payments at certain points. With the income-based repayment plan, or IBR, there is a maximum of 25 years of repayment, and then it is forgiven with possible income tax. Payments are based on your income and change as your income changes. For this payment plan, you need to demonstrate partial financial hardship. You will end up paying more for your loan over time than the 10-year standard plan, but lower monthly payments. So again, this will help especially during a time of financial hardship. With the pay-as-you-earn repayment plan, there's a maximum of 20 years of repayment and then it is forgiven. Payment is based on income and it changes as your income changes. With this repayment plan, you also have to demonstrate partial financial hardship. It is for direct loans only. And with this, you will pay more for your loan over time as compared to the 10-year standard repayment plan, but lower monthly payments. With the income contingent repayment plan, there's a maximum of 25 years, then it is forgiven, and payment is based on income. With this repayment plan, you will pay more for your loan over time than the standard fixed repayment plan. And finally, with the income-sensitive repayment plan, there's a maximum of 10 years, and payments are based on income and change as your income changes. You will pay more for your loan over time than the standard plan, and the monthly payment varies based on the lender. One thing that may make loan repayment easier is loan consolidation. Loan consolidation is when you consolidate or combine multiple federal loans into one direct consolidation loan. Once combined, they cannot be removed. It is important to note that private loans cannot be consolidated. So why would you consolidate your loans? Some advantages include that it makes repayment much easier because you're making one monthly payment rather than several. It also gives you more time to pay your loan in general, specifically up to 30 years more. However, a disadvantage to consolidation is if you increase the length of your loan, you will pay more over time, especially in interest as well. To consolidate your federal loans, you must apply for a direct consolidation loan online through www.studentloans.gov or by mailing a paper application. Either way, the application is free. If you are in default, you must make a certain amount of payments to bring it current before you qualify for consolidation. If you have questions before applying, contact the Loan Consolidation Information Call Center at 1-800-557-7392. You can consolidate after you graduate, leave school, or drop below half-time. Repayment can begin 60 days or sooner after the loan is disbursed, and the repayment time frame ranges from 10 to 30 years, depending on your loan amount and repayment plan. To see which loans are eligible for consolidation, visit www.studentaid.ed.gov. If you are having trouble making payments on your federal student loan, do not just ignore it. Be proactive to make the situation more manageable so your loan does not go into default. The main goal is to avoid default at all costs because once you are in default, you lose a lot of payment options. Contact your loan servicer to see if you can change your repayment plan while you are still current, or ask about other options such as deferment and forbearance. Deferment is a period in which the principal and interest on your student loan is temporarily delayed and you do not have to make payments. The government will pay your interest on federal Perkins loans, direct subsidized loans, and subsidized federal Stafford loans during a period of deferment. For any other loans, you are responsible for the interest during the deferment, not the payment. To be eligible, you need to be enrolled at least half-time, unemployed or unable to find full-time work, be going through an economic hardship, or meet other certain qualifications. You must submit a request to the organization to which you make your payments, either your loan servicer or your school, to ask about deferment. If you do not qualify for deferment, you may be able to place your loans in forbearance. Forbearance is a period in which you may be able to stop or reduce your payments for up to 12 months. However, no matter the loan, interest will continue to accrue during this time. You can choose to pay it during the forbearance period or let it accrue and be capitalized to where you have to pay more later. There are two types of forbearance, mandatory and discretionary. Mandatory is when you must be granted forbearance if you meet certain eligibility requirements. With a discretionary forbearance, your lender can decide to grant forbearance to you based on your financial hardship. Contact your loan servicer to request a forbearance. There are federal programs for student loan forgiveness as well. Loan forgiveness is the cancellation of all or a portion of your remaining federal student loan balance. If your loan is forgiven, you are no longer responsible for repaying that remaining portion of the loan. Under the Teacher Loan Forgiveness Program, your direct subsidized and unsubsidized loans and your subsidized and unsubsidized federal Stafford loans can be forgiven of up to a certain amount if you teach full-time for 5 complete and consecutive academic years in certain elementary and secondary schools and educational service agencies that serve low-income families and meet other qualifications. If you have PLUS loans only, you are not eligible for this type of forgiveness. Under the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, the remaining balance on your direct loans is forgiven after you've made 120 qualifying monthly payments under a qualifying repayment plan while working full-time for a qualifying employer. Qualifying employment is any employment with a federal, state, or local government agency, entity, or organization, or a nonprofit organization that has been designated as tax exempt by the Internal Revenue Service under Section 501(c)(3) of the Internal Revenue Code. There are many specific pieces and qualifications about these forgiveness programs. So, if you are interested and want to learn more to see if you qualify or will in the future, visit www.studentaid.ed.gov. As referenced earlier, default is when you fail to pay your loan as stated in your promissory note or the original written agreement in terms of the loan. Again, this happens if you have not made a payment in more than 270 days. To get out of default, you basically have 3 options. The first one is to repay your loans in full. With the second, you can rehabilitate your loan by making the affordable and reasonable payments that you have agreed to make with the loan servicer. Once your loan is rehabilitated, you may be eligible for deferment, forbearance, a choice of repayment plans, loan forgiveness, eligibility for additional federal student aid, and removal of wage garnishment and default state on your credit reports. In other words, rehabilitating your loan will fix everything. You also have an option for getting out of default through loan consolidation. Loan consolidation allows you to pay off the outstanding combined balances for one or more federal student loans to create a new single loan with a fixed interest rate, which is what we previously discussed. A defaulted federal student loan may be included in a consolidation loan after you've made arrangements with the Education Department and made several voluntary payments. Usually, you would be required to make at least 3 consecutive voluntary and on-time payments prior to consolidation. To avoid default altogether, which again, remember is the main goal of your student loans, contact your loan servicer as soon as possible the second you realize you are having difficulty paying your loans. If you catch it before it goes delinquent or in default, you can qualify perhaps for different repayment plans, so at least ask about your options. The following slides give you helpful resources to apply for or maintain or just check up on your student loan. It is important to be informed at all times. As stated earlier, the application website for federal student aid is www.fafsa.ed.gov. The Federal Student Aid website, found at www.studentaid.ed.gov, is a great website that contains information on basically everything you would need to know about federal student loans. Also, I encourage you to click on the resources link down at the bottom for tons of PDFs and videos on several topics like budgeting and responsible student loan repayment. www.nslds.ed.gov is the National Student Loan Data System, which is a database of outstanding federal student loans. www.studentloans.gov is a site where you can consolidate non-defaulted student loans. It also has other tools such as a repayment estimator. For more information on federal student loans and the financial education programs of Christian Credit Counselors, refer to the resources in the webinar handouts, which is located in the link directly below this webinar video. If you have additional questions, contact the Education Department at Christian Credit Counselors at education@christiancreditcounselors.org or call 1-800-557-1985, extension 131. If you have extra time, please take the Learning Student Loans webinar quiz through the link below the webinar video. This will provide us with information of how we can make the webinars most effective. Finally, please click on the link below the quiz to take the webinar survey. Your feedback matters. Tell us how we can better serve you. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate the time you took to learn more about student loans. This is a great step to taking control of your finances and achieving financial freedom. We encourage you to use our resources to continue your research and pursuit of financial stability and success. Thank you.